Hey YouTube, I'm here today with Brandon Morgan and his partner. For partner or boyfriend?
We've been doing both.
Boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah. He thinks partner's old-fashioned, so yeah, he says boyfriend.
This is Dalan Wells, and we've been hanging out with them today, and you will know them probably from this really super iconic picture right here. And what a way to start the year with such an incredible picture that said a lot about love, most importantly, because we were coming into a year when we saw a lot of big gay marriage wins, and Don't Ask, Don't Tell was gone, and people were starting to, I think, get that it's not really about special rights or all these stupid things. It's really just about gay people who want to have the same equal rights as everybody else.
Yes.
But I'm getting off track. I wanted to ask, when you first got off the plane or off the bus or wherever, when you first got there and you first saw Dalan, what was the very first thing that crossed your mind?
The very first thing that crossed my mind was, I can't believe he actually showed up. There was a little bit of hesitation on Dalan's part to even be there because, yes, the repeal had happened, DADT was dead, but for the most part, there were military spouses and girlfriends there, you know, all dressed up to receive their men, and husbands dressed up very nice to receive their wives back from deployment. But we were the only same-sex couple. I mean, I have a bunch of friends who are gay and lesbian in the military. My friend Brandy, she has a girlfriend, but she was on the East Coast in a different squadron, so she wasn't there. So we were the same-sex couple, and with that, it was a little hesitation on his part to even be there. And
yeah, well, I'm very shy.
Yeah.
So he started asking me. He's like, from Afghanistan, when we were Skyping, he was saying, "Oh, you're going to come visit, and come when the plane lands, because originally it was going to be the plane lets them off at another Air Force, a different base."
Yeah, Hiccup.
But then it ended up being the bus, and I was like, "Oh, I can't do it. And I told everybody I know, I'm like, "Oh, I can't do it. And then they all got on my case there, and then I started realizing, oh, he can go off to Afghanistan for 6 months and go to war, and I'm afraid to even show up at a hangar to greet him when he gets off the bus with him. So then I felt bad. I'm like, fine, I can do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw him before he saw me because the bus had tinted windows. So I saw him hanging at the corner of the open hangar bay doors. I'm like, okay, so I need to be here. They put us in formation, and everybody was shouting, "Move that bus!" You know.
Yeah, because
the one show.
They made them all wait on the other side of the bus until everybody got off.
Yeah, but you could see our feet getting down, so they were getting excited, building up the suspense.
And when you said what happened when you got off the bus, that's one of the things we always joked about. Is because I went so numb, like I couldn't feel my fingers.
Yeah.
So he's always joking. Whenever it's a big deal, he's like, oh, I can't feel my fingers.
Yeah, my leg was shaking.
His leg was shaking like he was going to fall down.
Yeah, but I made a beeline for him as soon as our executive officer, Major Morrell, gave us company dismiss. Everybody split to their families, and I just made a beeline for him. And
because I'm tall, so it's easy to find.
Yeah, and then the kiss happened.
Yeah.
So.
And I tried to get over to the side, and I didn't know any of the spouses, any of these other ladies. Some we were dressed. That's the other thing. People say, "Well, maybe it was inappropriate, the level of affection we showed." But what was inappropriate was what some of these spouses were wearing. Some of these wives and girlfriends with the little mini skirts. You could see the butts hanging out the bottom of, and all that was
It was a homecoming.
Yeah.
Rules and regulations do not go out the door, and that was the only big backlash I have to say. Is my squadron, my family, really? I mean, a military is a family, and they understand male to male, female to female, male to female, whatever relationship, they understand. And I wasn't yelled at, I wasn't disciplined at all. I mean, I was counseled because yes, there are rules and regulations to military homecoming, and even if it was a girlfriend jumping on her boyfriend that came home, they still would have been counseled, and that actually did happen. There's a picture on somebody posted on Facebook one time. But yeah.
But did you guys get any leeway because, I mean, Don't Ask, Don't Tell had just been repealed. You've been forced to sort of live in the closet that entire time.
No.
There's got to be a little extra leeway for
not at all.
The Marine Corps rules are rules.
That's the best thing is no matter who you are, rules are rules. So I was counseled a little bit, but I wasn't. There was no backlash.
And it's kind of thing that everybody does, but not every girlfriend coming home and meeting their boyfriend. That doesn't make the news. So it's like nobody even has to ever counsel them. It's just like, oh yeah, that was just a homecoming thing.
Right. That's the thing.
So that was the only problem with us, is that everybody saw it, and then it's like, oh, okay, you weren't supposed to do that.
Right. So did you run, and did he catch you?
I just
jumped
kind
on
of just jumped on him,
Yeah.
just kind of grappled him like a gopher.
Yeah.
Because, it might as well be. He's as tall as a bear or something, like a little squirrel just jumped on him.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, when we first saw that picture, we didn't know you guys back then, and I know that it's super important for Jay that Don't Ask, Don't Tell passed, and there's all this relief and celebration. But when that picture first came out, I know much to your chagrin, it still, I remember seeing that the first day and going, that's what it's all about, and that's what it's meant to be.
True.
So
Equality in all aspects.
I know you guys may not have necessarily expected to be put in that position, but it had such a huge impact on everybody. And now that a lot of this hubbub has happened and the dust has settled, how are you guys doing with being such a focus of attention?
Well, it was a bigger deal at our old base in Kaneohe, Hawaii, because that was where it happened, and so everybody heard about it right away. I mean, pretty much everybody in the Marine Corps probably saw it at one point or another, even if it's just did you see that picture, gross, or, oh, isn't that cool, or anything like that.
Yeah.
But on our base, it was, oh yeah, he's here, we know that guy, or my buddy works with him, or so like we would go to the commissary, which was weird too, just going to the commissary like a regular couple.
Corn in the milk.
Yeah, get corn in the dairy. They'd be like, you're those guys, right? We're like, oh yeah. So, yeah. And then we pretty much right away, only like 2-3 months later, we moved to New Orleans for his new job. And so there, like, everybody knew, but it was like, oh, here comes that guy from the photo, but it didn't happen while we were there, so it wasn't ever really talked about. It wasn't much of a deal.
Yeah, but talk about breaking stereotypes. I mean, I'm certain there was a sort of an expectation about what I was going to be like, because my future staff NCOs and my Marines knew me from the interviews, the photo, and everything else. But when I got there, they were, I guess, happily surprised. I was just another Marine. I was another sergeant. I got the job done. Not only that, but I took on extra duties. I started PTing Marines. I got on the color guard, the honor guard, everything I could do. I built a database for the 4th Marine Air Wing that I'm putting.
And he's up for an award.
I'm being put up for an award for.
And the best one that he doesn't even mention, but the best one he does suicide counseling.
Yes, I'm a
suicide
prevention counselor. So I'm a master trainer. So
the horrible joke we keep doing is it's suicide training. We're like, no, wait, no, it's not
suicide prevention.
It's not suicide training. It's suicide prevention.
Because I take a very very strong take with it, because I had a Marine that went through that during Afghanistan, and because I didn't know the signs to recognize. We always get the annual training, but there are certain things you get as a trainer you understand better. So when we had to take away his weapon because he was going through a lot of ordeals, but he eventually got better, which I'm very thankful for. It took him a while, but everybody takes their own time. Right. I wanted to take on that sort of role to help people recognize, especially during the holidays that we just went through. You have a lot of single Marines that, it's their first time away from home, so they might not be as strong as others, and they're put in that situation.
So he's a super Marine, and he's up for awards.
Yeah.
So that's what people think, oh, he's just going to be some, if anything, just like a base guy or something, but he goes out of his way to. Yeah.
I'm definitely not the one who just sits around and waits to get out of the Marine Corps. I take initiative and get stuff done.
Nobody swears on the internet.
Of course not.
Okay.
Well, with every super Marine, there has to be somebody super standing behind
Exactly.
them to support them.
I take care of the
But
kids.
obviously there's no support network for the spouses.
No. That was in the news. Yeah, that the one a lesbian Army spouse wanted to join those. I forget what fort it was Army. They wanted to join the club, the spouses club, and they said no. And even though it wasn't in their laws that they couldn't, and everything. So. So, not that I'm going to go off and join a spouses club with a bunch of housewives.
Too shy already.
But maybe I would.
They might serve good cocktails.
Yeah,
you never know.
It would be nice.
Good source for Tupperware. Who knows?
It would be nice to afford the opportunity.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes it's more than just having somebody to talk to, I think. Really.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I had another question for you, and you mentioned coming from a very religious past, and
that is a complicated story.
It is. And as somebody else who comes from a very religious past, who had to overcome a lot of that type stuff, I'm really curious how you went about your own coming out process to yourself. Because I'm pretty open about it, that I was able to, blame being gay on the devil for a long time.
Yeah.
I really had to stop.
The devil made me do it?
Yeah. And
Brandon was different than most people's because he kind of knew he was gay, but then went into the closet almost more, and then started blaming the devil, and then came back out again.
That's
not
what
to
I think.
steal your story, but
No, it's okay, baby. That's what I think a lot of people don't know about me. My mother and father and grandparents were sort of religious, but when I talk about my religious past and growing up, I really mean from my teenage years on. And in order to sit down and tell everybody the story, it'd take too long, so I just say, when I was growing up to make it easy. But I think it complicated things. I knew I was gay, and I knew I loved men since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
It was that. That's why I believe it's in the DNA. It's in the body. It can't be changed. Because I had a dream one night, and this is in the book that I'm writing about my past, and people want to know my story, so I'm putting out the memoirs. Hopefully, they'll be out within the next year. I had a dream one night that I was on a cruise boat, a yacht, in the middle of the ocean, and I was like 26, 27, built, buff, awesome. And the guy I was with was the same thing, and we were doing stuff in the dream. And I was at the age of 4, so I was like, well, that was weird.
it is weird.
Yeah, so I mean, I knew from a very young age, but as I progressed and as I grew up, I just didn't think about it till puberty hit, and I went, oh, well, there you go. And I came out in high school when I was 17, and my friend, whose name I'll leave anonymous, but he's one of my Facebook friends, we still talk every now and then, invited me to go to this church. And they convinced me that I was demonically possessed. I needed to pray the gay away. I needed to be anointed with oil and go through the exorcism, and the demon that was possessing me, because they made it was where I don't like that church. They were very militaristic. They broke down, which is something your husband can understand. They broke it down to a rank structure. This demon that was possessing me was under the Lieutenant Jezebel, which was under the General Lust, who was right under Satan. So Satan, this huge red demonic guy in this fiery place, was out for me, and he specifically told this little demon to go make me gay. And that's why I'm gay. So they anointed me with oil and the extra. Yeah.
It's not your neighborhood Presbyterian
No.
church or something. This is one of those wacko big tent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Crazy
and they tried to exorcise the demons, and for a while I thought it worked. But here's the thing, because you can't change who you are, because you're not demonically possessed, you're either born one way or not, just like you're either born white or African American or whatever. It's in your DNA. I thought that I didn't love God enough. I thought that I hadn't prayed hard enough. I thought that it didn't work. So I kept going back and got baptized, and kept going and worshiping at the altar, and kept getting slain in the Spirit and speaking in tongues. Because if I love God devout enough, He will change me. Because 2 Corinthians 5:17, everything is made new in Christ Jesus our Lord. Well, needless to say, that didn't work. Joined the Marine Corps. But I thought it had worked, so when they said, oh, well, if you are homosexual, you have to keep it in, or else you'll be kicked out, I thought it didn't matter because I thought it had worked. Well, as I got away from that church, as my life progressed and I stopped talking to them as much, I started to see things clear, which is why I love the Marine Corps, which is why I love the military. I was forced to be with people who are of other faith, other walks of life, and I saw that what works for one person doesn't always work for everybody else.
Right.
So that's when it started changing. Yes, I did go home and got married and, went through that whole thing because I was still connected with that church in some way. But after she left, after I found out the honeymoon night that nothing was going to happen, we went through the whole shebang, the marriage, the reception, the dancing, the drinking. Even the drinking didn't help.
At least you give everything your all. You're like,
Yeah.
if I'm going to try to be straight, I'm going to get married.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't think I had to try. I
No.
thought I was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a choice, but now I understand that it's not. You do have a choice in one aspect to go with it or repress it, but that's your only choice. You are or not. So, the honeymoon night, she's ready. I'm not. Well, be honest.
No, I know. I'm just like.
But
I
the
don't
thing
know
is
how many
that,
details.
so that's when, and we kept arguing because there was so much sexual tension and sexual frustration. Because here's the kicker. She had the same testimony I did. She used to be with women.
Oh, and now it all makes sense.
And now it all makes
And we've
sense.
seen this on Will and Grace, the exact same episode.
Oh, yeah.
So, where they got Jack to go to the
secret
the after.
stallions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no.
So, do you kind of credit the Marine Corps then with helping you come to terms with yourself being gay?
Not just the Marine Corps. I credit everything in my life, everything that I've gone through. And this is something that I want a lot of people to know, is that anything you go through, no matter if it's good or bad in your life, it helps you determine who you are. That's why, when some people go, I wish I could change the past, no. Because if I would have never gone to that church, if I would have never gotten married, if she would have never left me, where I could finally come to terms with who I am, but because of DADT, still have to repress it because, rules and regulations, understood. I signed the contract, I got it. Whatever. I will still abide by what I said I would do. But if I'd never gone to that church, I would never join the Marine Corps. If I'd never joined the Marine Corps, I would have never had those struggles. I've never had those struggles, never got married, never got divorced, never would have met.
Yeah.
So no matter what I've been through, I don't give a shit. It led us together.
Yeah.
And so you guys had known each other 4 years?
Oh, ever since I
At
got
that
on
point,
island,
4 years, yeah.
But he really helped me through the
It's like
divorce
5 years
because
now.
being in the E Club, the enlisted club, and he was there all the time. So I would go there and play video games because I didn't want to go home. The home was empty.
And give him free milk for his protein shakes.
Yeah, going to the gym, working out. So
I knew him when he was in his goofy phase, and he was just so comical about it because it's those ones that protest so much they're gay.
Oh,
and
God,
he was like
yes.
that. He would, the things he would say, we weren't offended because I had some of the gay coworkers too. We'd just be like, Morgan.
Oh, good for Brandon.
Yeah, so it was just a matter of time, just waiting for that all to come out and everything to be normal again. So. But
And
it was
so
funny.
what brought the two of you, it was the divorce and being
Well, then he
friends?
was like super gay, and I was like, oh, dude, calm down.
I was sneezing glitter at one
Because
point.
it was before Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, you need to take it down a notch. It's going to be okay. We're great.
Yeah,
We're great that you're all excited about being gay.
Because
Yeah, but he was a one-man gay pride parade through the barracks and everything.
no,
So yeah,
not the
so
barracks.
he ended up. This is my favorite part of the story. 'Cause he
There
ended up asking
are-
me out a couple times, and I was like, no, this is a goofy kid. I don't. He's just came out of the closet. He just wants to hook up or something, and the age difference too, the big age. Because I'm 14 years older. So I know it doesn't matter to you, but it mattered to me. So I kept saying no, and then I would never let him get it out. Like, he would be like, oh, you want to go out sometime? I'd be like, no, yeah, just shoot it down and change the subject to video games or something.
Yeah.
But then it was finally when he was in
It's
Afghanistan.
like the new Black Ops.
Yeah, when he was in Afghanistan, then it was through Facebook that he was able to write this whole, 300-line letter spilling his guts and telling me exactly how he felt about me and everything. And that's how it started, which I kind of like. 'Cause it's very old-fashioned, romantic that we were able to write these long letters back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
So we started dating then when he was in Afghanistan. So then that's why that kiss was such, I feel like I've told this 100 times now, but that's why that kiss was such a big deal, because it wasn't just like, oh, I missed you. It was our first kiss ever.
Yeah.
After
knowing
5
each other
years
for 5
of
years.
knowing each other, and then finally, well, let's keep it 5 now, but yeah, at that point it was like 4 years of knowing each other, and then dating for 2 months online, with him on the other side of the world.
It just finally just exploded everywhere.
And I always loved him, but I was always like, oh, no.
Same with me.
Yeah, that's that kid who used to be that goofy Christian kid and everything. It was like, I just kind of suppressed it all, and then, yeah.
But it's like your husband Jay says. You never, I will never forget the first time I met him. He came walking into the gym. Not the gym. He came walking into the club from the gym. It was starting to work, and it was just that moment where everything stops, and you lock eyes, and something changes. But because of everything I was going through, I thought it was, like the devil attacking me again. So I did what I could to repress it. However, no matter what faith you have, no matter what you go through, there is some truth in this world, and that was a moment of clear truth.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it.
Okay, guys.
Oh, I got the shirts.
Well,
we're gonna be together forever.
Yes.
So this is the first time we actually got to meet Brandon and Dalan today, and we've had a really nice time talking, enjoying hanging out. And I know that picture, even though it touched me the first time I saw it, is even much more meaningful to me now. And I hope you guys got to see a different side of them too that we got to know today. So thanks for hanging out with us, YouTube. You guys want to say anything in closing?
No. Sorry,
Sorry, no, I think we got it all out.
Bye, YouTube.